So the couple of questions are really, is it worth the money for this car? Is it good enough to replace my Merc? So just before you get into this video, I just wanted to say this is the shorter edited version. If you wanted to watch the full version, then the link will be below, or just look at the next video in the channel. Enjoy. Hi, so today I'm in the BMW iX3, which is the full electric version of the BMW X3, and I've been kindly enough to be given a test drive from BMW Chandler's in Hailsham, so big shout out to them. And for me, there's a couple of questions that I want to answer by having this car. So I am a car lover, I am a bit of a petrol head, and I've got a Mercedes E-Class at the moment, and the wife's got a BMW 440i. And last 6 months I've been getting a little bit bored with the Mercedes E-Class, and I'm looking at kind of changing my vehicle. And the reason I wanted to do this review on this car is because I've looked at 4 or 5 reviews on this car, and a lot of them are abroad. So again, they're great reviews, but they're not done in the UK, on the UK model. And a lot of them have spent 15 minutes talking about the outside and how big the boot is and how many miles you can get on a charge, which are all really important things to have. But none of them have kind of shown or really showed me what I wanted to see in respects to if it really is a driver's car, and more importantly, is it good enough to replace my Mercedes? Because I do love my Mercedes, and I love my cars. A lot of things people don't say, they review the car but not why they want the car. So one of the reasons I like the idea of this, the world is starting to change electric, and obviously it's good for the environment, but it also saves me, in comparison, this electric vehicle over say the 3-litre diesel X5, it's going to save me about £450 a month roughly by having this car. So this car is going to be cheaper by £450 a month, so my accountant tells me. And that's not including the fuel cost either. So obviously you could spend a tenner a month, or you could spend £100 a week on fuel, depending on how many miles you do. But is it worth the money? Is it worth, or is it better than my Merc? And more importantly, is it worth swapping from a petrol or a diesel to an electric car? So here we are. What do I think? Well, I'm doing 43 miles an hour and I'm in traffic. So at the moment, so I don't think much. It feels smooth, it's comfortable, it's quiet, I can have a nice chat with you guys. I've got the active cruise control on, which I've worked out in about 10 seconds, so it's pretty cool. And then I can select the distance between the car and front. So instead of doing cruise, normal cruise, and again, a lot of you will probably do this and go, oh yeah, that works all the time. I've never had active cruise in my car, so this is kind of cool. And then if I play with the mode, assisted driving. So now, the active cruise control on, but the lane assist as well. So again, if you've never had lane assist, what it's doing is it's keeping me in the lane. So I'm just going around it's not a sharp corner, but a bit of a right-hand bend, and it is steering. Oh, so you've got to keep your fingers on the steering wheel, or it beeps at you and tells you off. But it is keeping me. So if I pick up a little bit more speed, let's go to 45. Well, I'm in the 60s, 45's cool. It picks up on the car in front. You can change the distance apparently as well. So if I change, does that work? No idea. So you can change the range to the car in front. And what it's doing is it's keeping me in the lane, but it's also keeping me a safe distance from the car in front. And you can also change that range if you want. And if I let go of the steering wheel, I wouldn't recommend it. My hands are quite close, ready just in case I need to, but it's keeping me at the speed, and it's also now telling me I need to put my hands back on the steering wheel. So there's obviously a sensor somewhere that tells you your hands are on the steering wheel. And again, you see the idiots that you're sitting in the passenger seat, not holding onto the steering wheel because they're in the wrong seat. Oh, and there's a tractor just about to pull out. So again, I don't know how the car would react to that. The steering feels quite nice. That feels a bit plastic, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so I got bored talking to myself, and I'm just driven from Eastbourne back to Hastings. And another thing people haven't spoke about is or certainly that I've seen them speak about much, is I believe it's called regen. So there's a mode, you push the gear lever to the side and you go into a regen mode. So when you come off the throttle, it starts braking the car and giving you regen to the battery, so in theory charging it back up. When I first started doing it about 10 minutes ago, I hated it. I was like, oh my God, that feels horrible. To start with, you're like, so you come off the pedal and it just pulls you forward straight away, which is really bizarre. And there's a tiny little sweet spot on the throttle where you come right off it and you just touch it and it allows the car to coast. So although you come off the throttle, you just put a little bit of pressure on and it allows it to roll. But the second you lift your foot off, it pulls you forward. Which is really, see, it's doing it again. It's doing it again. And now I haven't braked, but it's just stopped the car. So to start with, it was really doing it again. So it's really alien, and I'm still getting used to it. It's like, I look like a learner that doesn't know how to use brakes. It's braking for me. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite cool. Coming up to roundabout, come off the pedal, no braking whatsoever. It keeps braking, and then back on the pedal, and then you go again. So I reckon a couple of days of getting used to that, and I think braking's going to be really primitive. What do you mean you have to brake your car to slow it down? I think that's going to be really interesting to see how I feel tomorrow. Again, coming up to a 20 zone, come off the pedal, slows you down, go over the speed ramps, and then come off the pedal again, slows you down for the junction, check your mirrors, and then away you go again. So that I wanted to add that really, because no one's really talked about that on the reviews, and they've never gone into detail because I've always wanted to know what it feels like. So I'm literally just pulling up home now. One of the other reasons I needed the car overnight is because I need to park it on my driveway. Now my driveway is pretty damn tight, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and the Merc just gets on there just. This is, I don't know, 20 mil shorter, but 20 mil wider. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And again, you see, I have to go forward and round, and the daughter's car's in the way. Again, it's braking for me, which is really weird. And let's just try and reverse straight on, shall we? Let's not see if it fits or doesn't fit. Right, that's changed my folding mirror. I don't want that to happen. I need to see the car, not the ground. So the mirror obviously automatically changes for you, so you can see the curb, but I need to be able to see. So you're probably going to hear how tight it is to get on this driveway. Am I going to do it in one? No, I probably could, but I'll take a little snatch. Okay, let's squeeze. And again, I still use mirrors. We've got cameras and we've got sensors. You can hear it beeping away. Come on, get up, get up. But again, one of the problems I've got with my motor. Are we hitting anything? Are we on? You can hear how tight it is. Look, go back. Cool. Right, so we are in. First time parking on there. We managed to get in without hitting the walls or scratching the cars, which is good. What do I press? That, park? Are we parked? We're parked, cool, turn it off. So there you go. It is quite easy to park. It is quite tight. So here we go, as promised. I've had to put the light on because it's starting to get dark. So hopefully it's not blinding the camera too much. I have my wife in front in her BMW 440i. It is 3 years old, so 2018 model. It's 400 horsepower, give or take. It's a bit of a beast. I mean, it's not a monster, it's not a Lamborghini, but you know, when you go for a bit of a play, there's not a lot that you know, will keep up with it. Right, here we go. So again, I'm staying with her. It's up to 60. She might have been creeping away from me just, but again, we've now stuck to the speed limit. So again, we're coming up to junction, we're going to turn right, so it's going to be from pull away, and then again, there's a good couple of 90-degree bends here, so this is going to test the handling, cornering. Yeah, go on, yeah, she's giving it. Come on then, give me some grip, give me some grip. Thank you very much. So, traction control was in quite heavily, didn't allow me to go. But again, Charlotte had a bit of wheel slip as well. Again, I'm trying not to cut the corners. I'm trying to keep it within the parameters of the road. And obviously I'm trying not to cheat. Because again, when you're following someone, it's quite easy and then cut the corner and kind of just cut off a couple of milliseconds. Again, at the corner, I get instant torque, whereas Charlotte's not got that. Again, I'm catching her up that time. Back to the speed limit, so slap, like, you know, just sticking at the speed limit. But what is quite interesting is she's not leaving me at all, and round the bends it is fun, and it is keeping up with her. She's not pulling away from me. So, yep, she's left me space to come out with her, which is good. All right, we're good to go. Again, I can hear her giving it the stick. Again, I'm staying with her. She's not left me. She's still right there. Again, she's a good driver. But again, I'm staying with her completely. A little bit boaty there, not too much. And again, back into traffic. Mercedes costs 70 quid to fill up, and I get on average 250 miles to a tank. It tells me 300, but it lies. If I go on a run, I might get 300 to 350 out of a tank, roughly. But again, I only go on a run probably once every 2 months, so I'm not actually getting a lot out of it. And obviously, I couldn't tell you on this, but 200 miles to, in theory, a charge. It told me 180 when I got in it. We're probably going to get 210 out of it. And again, they do say that you can get 280 out of it. You know, weather conditions right, wind behind you with the nice wheels that are aerodynamic. But in reality, you're probably only going to get 200 out of it. But I'd have to have this for a week to kind of tell you any different. Let's go back to comfort. Let's go to eco, actually, see what happens in eco mode. Yeah, the pedal's got a lot softer. I have to press it a lot harder to make it do anything. So let's go back to comfort. It's a little bit better. So yeah, as I was saying, you're probably going to get 200 miles out of a charge, but then I believe a full charge is only 7 quid. So if I'm only getting 250 miles out of my Merc, and it cost me 70 quid, actually cost me 79 quid the other day to fill up. I mean, it was quite empty. So if you said £75 to fill it up, and I'm only getting 250 miles out of it, and if I get 200 miles out of this, and it only costs 7 quid to fill up. Now, if you go to Tesco's, apparently you can charge it for free while you're there. So you can fill it for free. You can charge it for free, which is pretty cool. There will be people saying, well, it's an SUV, it's a 4x4, it's a shame it's not 4x4. Let's be honest, how many of you will drive this car and need 4-wheel drive? How many of you will go off-roading in this car? Probably zero. So the fact that it's just rear-wheel drive won't make any difference to 90% of you. And to be honest, I mean, they said you can't drift it, and I'm not going to try it in this because it's not mine and I don't want to pay the excess if I did ding it. But traction control off, if you're a good driver, I bet you could have a bit of fun in this. I'm not going to do it, but I bet you could have some fun. So it is fun. I did enjoy it, and she couldn't get away from me. So 400 horsepower, full electric, and although this doesn't pop and bang and make all them sexy sounds, if I was in that and this was keeping up, I'd be a bit upset that an electric car's keeping up with me. So there you go. Have a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow with some more. Good morning. So I'm back for day 2 in the car, I guess, and there's bits in this car that I'm falling in love with, and there's bits that are a bit of a niggle, but they are only a niggle. But first of all, I want to say we went out for quite a nice drive last night, late at night, again just for a bit of a drive out. The more I drive it, the more I'm starting to love it. And the reason I wanted to say this very quickly was I was just at the gym working, and I've got a plumber working at my house, and long story short, he decided to flood my kitchen. One of the isolation valves wouldn't turn off, so he's like, can you shoot to the plumber centre and give me some bits really quickly? So obviously I very sharply got to the plumber centre, and then very sharply got to my house. And again, this, you know, when you're flooding your kitchen, you tend to drive, you know, as you do. And this was brilliant. It handles extremely well. It's an SUV, but it is a small SUV, but it's still for what I would call is a truck, rather than, you know, an estate or, you know, a smaller car. It does handle and point and press really well for an SUV. So let's have a quick look around the dashboard, and it is really nice in here. There's nothing not to like whatsoever. Again, people say about the noise, you know, when you start up you get a funky noise. Apparently some really famous Guy that creates music done that. Is it needed? Not really, but you know, it's okay. Standard steering wheel. You've got all your controls as usual. The controls itself are quite pretty. They're quite nice. Again, depending on what you're used to looking at. Again, there's nothing wrong with what's in front of us. It's really nice. The leather's pretty good. There's lots of space. There's a nice big sunroof. Apparently there's a camera on here that films, and if you're in an accident or if someone cuts you up, you can press a button somewhere and it tells you it records the first 15 and the last 15 seconds. So if someone was to hit and run away, apparently it will automatically film it for you, which is pretty good. I've not tried it because obviously I've not crashed. Again, centre console's quite nice. You've got your mobile charging point in there. You've got a key holder. You've got a little funky thing in there. It's just nice. It's just nice. Mercedes versus BMW at this point, I would have to say the Mercedes is a little bit prettier. So that I always I'll tell you what it feels like, the difference between an iPhone and a Samsung. So for me, I think the Samsung's probably a slightly prettier phone. It looks nicer and it's probably slightly higher resolution and all that kind of stuff. But for me, the iPhone works a little bit better. And I kind of feel like that's the same in here. I feel like it just works a little bit better. The iDrive system in the BMW is fantastic. The one in the Merc is very good, but the one in the BMW is just a little bit better. But the dashboard in the Merc, I think, for me personally, is slightly prettier. It's just a little bit nicer than the BMW. There's nothing wrong with this whatsoever, and if you just sat in here, you would absolutely love it. But if you sat in the Merc, I think you would be slightly more impressed with the Merc, ever so slightly. So that's the back. There's plenty of room for you to sit in. You can get 4 adults comfortably. You might get 5 maybe. How big's your boot? You're going to be able to get your golf clubs in there. You're going to get your suitcases in there. How many litres is it? I ain't got a clue. I think it was 480. But I can sit in it. Okay, I can't sit up in it, but I can sit in it. So it's a pretty big boot. There's plenty of space. You'll get your golf clubs in there. You'll get your luggage in there. Again, I don't know if the Pro Edition has it, but I know it sounds really silly. On the Merc, if you do that, it opens and shuts the tailgate. And again, I know that sounds really primitive, and I was like, why would I ever want to use that in my life ever? But when you're walking up to your car with Tesco shopping, you've got your kit bag, you've got your golf clubs, you just put your foot under it and it opens. It's just, rather than just putting your stuff down. Someone shouting at me. So that's the boot. It's nice and big, and obviously this is round. Give you an outside of the car. So I really like white cars. I think white cars are a love-hate. I really like white cars, and the thing I wasn't sure about is this black trim. And on the internet it looks good, and you think, oh, actually it doesn't look too bad. But when you get up close to it, for me personally, it just looks a little bit cheap. Now I'm going to tell you about something in a minute. The wheels, again, you can love them or hate them. I think wheels completely make a car. I think these wheels don't make this car. So if I was to buy this car, the first thing I'd do is change the wheels. Now BMW say that these are super efficient wheels that give you an extra 6 miles per charge. I personally would rather have nicer wheels and lose the 6 miles, but that's me. What I will say is this handles bumps fantastically, even better than my E-Class. The E-Class is really smooth and handles bumps perfectly. But this just goes over anything, which is great. By the way, this video is sponsored by Hastings Kickboxing. So that's my business. That's what I run. Just thought I'd get a little plug. Let's get around the other side. And there's the front. Again, I'm not a lover of the front grille, it has to be said. So this is the Premier model. So there is a Pro model, which is the one that I've ordered, which comes with a few more extras. So that is the Premier Edition. The Pro Edition comes with Harman Kardon sound, and it comes with a few little extras. But what I'm really interested in is, I ordered mine back in June. It was meant to be here now in August, and I haven't even been given a build slot yet. So it's probably looking at November, December because of COVID, and you know, the computer chips aren't being made, therefore cars are not being made as quickly. So I've been offered the opportunity to wait and get the M Sport model. So it comes with a different interior, I believe different seats, but more importantly in this video, now I'm going to put the difference for the front. So I'll click it in now. So that's the difference on the front of the car for the M Sport. And then again, I'm just giving you like loads of views. You can pause it, stop, start it as much as you want, this video, if you want to have a look around it. And then the rear, so there's going to be a new rear end to it as well, which is going to be the M Sport. And for me, that's probably one of the only things that this car is lacking for me, is it doesn't have that M Sport feel. I love it, it drives well, it looks okay. But then a standard Mercedes looks okay until you buy the AMG line with the AMG wheels and the front splitters and all the other little tweaks that just make it look a little bit better. Now, personally for me, I mean, that looks okay, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But I do believe the M Sport is going to look much better. And again, I've only seen it on a photo on the internet so far. Again, just jump back in, it's really easy to get in because obviously it's a little bit higher. And one other thing I really like is the driving position. I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but you've got a really kind of dominant, aggressive bonnet, and it's got them two lovely bulges. And when you're driving down the road, it just feels like you are taking the road. Like, it really feels like you've got a powerful stance. You really feel like you are owning your side of the road, whereas obviously the smaller your car gets, the littler it feels. So that feels really good. So this is the standard one, and the standard one in this is better than the standard one in the Mercedes as standard. And then obviously the upgraded system is going to be even better. It's pretty good. It's, again, how good it's going to sound on there, we don't know. Let's put some radio on. So it depends on what music you're into, but it does sound all right in there. It's quite bassy. It's a little tinny, but this is the standard sound system. But the bass in here is so much better than the bass in the Mercedes for the standalone system. Depends what music you're into as well. So if you're into dance, sounds pretty good. You might be into jazz. Depends on your musical tastes. Does sound good. What else can we listen to? Bit of 70s? So, I think for most people, this will be more than good enough, and this one does outweigh the Mercedes standard. But I'm looking forward to listening to the upgraded version in this car when it comes out. There you go. So here's my final review on the car, or my summary. Before I finish, I just want to say this is the first ever review that I've ever done on a vehicle like this. Lots of people always ask me to do them, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do one. So if you've enjoyed it, if you found it insightful, if you found it better than others, I'd be really interested to know if it has helped you out, because obviously I might do a few more if you have. If you thought it was rubbish, then tell me that as well. Is it worth the money for this car? Yes, simple. Does it drive better than the Mercedes? Yes, it does. Is it good enough to replace my Merc? Yes, it is. It is a completely different car, so you could argue it's a bit of a unfair comparison. And I haven't driven the EQC or the EQE, but I have driven all the petrol and diesel versions of it, and this does beat it every single time. And they always do say it, but BMW really are a driver's car. So if you like driving, then this is a perfect car for you. It's smoother than the Merc. It handles speed bumps and potholes better. And mine's not bad. Mine's a dream in comparison to Charlie's 4 Series BM. I mean, that's horrendous on potholes. The Merc's pretty good, whereas this is even better. And even being so much smoother and so much more comfortable, it still handles exceptionally well for a mini SUV, or what I'm going to call a mini SUV, because it's not massive, is it? But it's bigger than an estate. The pull and the torque on this is amazing. Have I missed gears? I haven't. No, I haven't. Have I missed the engine noise? Yes, I have. But that's going to be the compromise. Everything else about it, I really can't say a bad word about it. Again, the one thing I said about the clicky cheap button for the volume on the stereo is a bit annoying, and I think that is literally the only thing I can pick a hole in. My mate Steve's with me now, and again he loves it. He's been in it for half hour. We've been out for a little drive, and we're just taking it back to BMW Hailsham for the end of the test drive. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope it's helped. Am I going to buy one? I think I am. I want the Pro Edition with a head-up display and Harman Kardon, and I will be changing the wheels, and I want the M Sport front and rear bumpers. But that's me. I'm still 21 in my head, although I'm not anymore. So I really hope this has helped, guys, and thanks once again for Hailsham BMW for looking after me. Adam I've been dealing with, they've been really helpful and really kind. I do really like this car, and we'll see you soon, maybe.